Mind the gap.
So welcome aboard, commuters, and this is my first projects video, and this first one features the Royal Guard from the box set of Star Wars Imperial Assault. So we'll begin first of all by cleaning up any mold lines, any little bits that I don't like, any bits that I want to remove. I found cleanup was quite easy. There were mold lines, but they tended, because these are figures that have flowing robes, I tended to find that just generally a piece of like an emery board or a file will work quite well. There was a little bit underneath the robe that I didn't really like, so I just chopped that away with a blade. Now, a few things to note during this video. I am using some new video editing software, and I've always constantly strived to improve the quality of the video. So as the video goes on, it will improve in quality. Also, because I didn't know an awful lot about these models, I did a little bit of research. So what I'm going to do throughout the video, I'm going to read some information I found from Star Wars wiki page. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so the next stage is to apply a primer. In this particular case, I chose to use Citadel Imperial Primer, but obviously you can use any primer of your choice, whether it's a spray can or something that you can put through an airbrush. Okay, once that's dry, I'm going to apply 2 thin coats of Mephiston Red. This has been will be diluted down. Obviously, if you feel it needs a 3rd coat, that's fine. But in this case, I managed to just get away with 2 coats. The Emperor's Royal Guard, also referred to as the Imperial Royal Guard or Imperial Guard, was an elite order of protectors assigned to Emperor Sheev Palpatine of the Galactic Empire. Armed with force pikes and fully clad in their anonymous helmets and crimson robes, the Royal Guards were a silent, imposing and deadly force in the Emperor's service. In addition to strict requirements of height, strength, intelligence and loyalty, only the most capable soldiers in the Imperial Military qualified for duty in the ranks of the Royal Guard. Okay, my apologies guys, I managed to lose some footage, but the next stage is to give an all-over shade of Carroburg Crimson. Equally, you can use any kind of red wash. As I said, I used Carroburg Crimson. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to get some Mephiston Red, which is the same colour as the base colour, and then what we're going to do is we're going to paint over all of the raised edges. Now this is going to be overly thinned. We want it very, very thin. It's better to over thin it than to not thin it enough. And for this initial stage, we're going to paint over all of the cloak and all of the head. And we're just going to avoid the bits where the shade has really settled, and it's just going to try and restore that red back. Prior to the Imperial Era, the Senate Guard was responsible for the security of the Supreme Chancellor and the Galactic Senate of the Republic. The service to the government's executive branch diminished under the chancellery of Palpatine, who gradually supplemented the Senate Guards with cloned shock troopers of the Coruscant Guard, along with a new force of bodyguards known as the Red Guard. Recruited from the ranks of the Senate Guard, the Red Guard steadily supplanted their counterparts as the protectors of Chancellor Palpatine over the course of the Clone Wars. With the end of the war and the proclamation of the New Order in 19 BBY, the newly appointed Emperor Palpatine retained the Red-Robed Guards, now a force of royal bodyguards, whereas the Senate Guard was disbanded and replaced by Imperial Stormtroopers and the Royal Guard. On occasion, if needed, or ordered by Palpatine, they could take orders from his apprentice, Darth Vader. Okay, and here's the finished layer of paint. What it's done is just added a little bit of richness to the red, ready for the next coat. Okay, for our next stage we're going to do a 50-50 mix of Mephiston Red and Evil Sun Scarlet. Now you will see on the video that I hold the wrong bottles up, but rest assured I have used Mephiston Red and Evil Sun Scarlet. Now we are going to thin this down exactly the same way as we did in the previous step, and then we're going to paint over all of the cloak again in the same way that we did before. However, don't go quite so far into the recesses. We're just going to build up a slightly lighter layer on the uppermost edges. Okay, so our final colour for this particular part is Evil Sun Scarlet, and just like before we're going to really thin it down. We're going to go over the layers of the cloak again, but again not going quite so deep as we went the first time. Okay, so this is coming to the end of it now, and I thank you for watching. I would like to make a longer video, but part of the idea of these videos is to paint in 5-hour segments, sort of tailored around the person who maybe works hard all week, does many shifts, doesn't have an awful lot of time to paint. So just little short segments, and unfortunately it does mean that the videos come out in more parts, but I feel that they're more bite-sized chunks. So I'll see you guys next week when we will continue with the cloak and we will finish off the model. Thanks for watching, guys.